Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and today I'm gonna discuss a bit about guitar switching systems and how to use one. Okay, that was a little bit of noodling and playing around with the switcher. So this is a GLab GSC-3. It's a Polish company. Very good quality. And so, as you saw and heard, that with the switcher I was able to change many pedals, different sounds, even two different amps with just one click. So how does it work? Like this one, or switchers in general? So basically what we have here is, here are the loops, and they go like in the order, the signal chain from loop 1, 2, 3. So it matters to what loop you put your pedal. Because if you have, like let's say, the reason why I have the phase 90 in the loop 1, so it's first in the signal chain, because I like how phaser sounds and reacts and plays when it's before overdrive. If it's after the overdrive, then it sounds a little bit different, and I don't like it that much. So the order is important, what loops you are putting the pedals. So the idea is that because these are in loops, and with the switches you activate the loop. So now I have nada, nothing is on, so it goes directly, because the signal goes first from my guitar to the wah, which isn't on the loop, because I want to be able to access the wah without activating it here, but just by stomping on it. And then it goes to the tuner, which isn't in the loop either, because that way I can just mute the signal and tune. Like that. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, so and then after those two it goes to the input of the loop, and then all the pedals here are in separate loops, and then it goes from the output here, it goes to the Headbone tube amp switcher radials, so I can switch between the two amps that I'm using now. So the signal goes to the radial, and then from radial it goes to the two amps, and then from both amps speaker outputs it goes back to the radial. There's a little bit like load in there, so it can handle the load when the amp isn't used, and from the Headbone it goes to the third reactive load, which takes the hit when the amp is in use. And there I have Jens Bugre Sound of God EQ2 impulse response, and from there the sound goes to Focusrite and to my DAW, which is Cubase, where I'm recording this. So this is very handy in the studio or live also. I don't have to, go and unplug and plug cables and unplug pedals, because especially when you're recording, you want the signal to be as clean as possible. So let's say if I wouldn't have this looper and all these pedals, even though if they wouldn't be on, it could affect the signal a bit, because like I said, especially when you're recording, you want to only have the pedal in the signal chain what you're using. Live, yeah, I don't think it matters that much, because at least if you play rock and metal like me, there's so much gain and volume and stuff, so nobody could say if there's a couple of pedals in there or what. So live, I've used this live about many years. I've just used pedals like old school way, to save space and stuff. I like to stomp on the pedal, but here on my studio, I like to use this, so I don't have to unplug cables, because then I can just switch with what pedal I'm recording or with what pedal combination. Okay, so how does this work, and how, I guess, most, at least a little bit better ones work? So on this number 1, I programmed that it changes to Zakk Wylde, and here on GSL it changes to GSL. I don't know if you can see the light or here. So the Headbone can be controlled remotely. So these two switches only switch between the two amps. And I set the GSL to clean. And the 800 to, your usual crunchy. Which I think 800 does the best. GSL, those other two channels are great too, but I prefer 800s because I have them for overdriven and distorted tones. mainly. Okay, and then what I have here, when I press this, let's say we are in here, I press this, it changes the sound to 800, then it activates loop 2, which is Super Overdrive, and Decimator. The Decimator is there just to cut off the hiss, because you hear that it's very tiny, but it's there. Again, live, wouldn't matter that much. But here in the studio, it's when I'm recording and doing these videos, it's good to have the signal without any extra noise. Okay, and then when I press this, it changes the amp to GSL, number 2, and then loop 4, which I have chorus. And then this nada switch, it bypasses everything. So when I'm recording bass, or if I want to just record a clean DI signal and use plugins, and then that bypasses everything. Okay, and then on this upper row, I have, as you can see, plus and minus. So these knobs act like, when I press here, it's basically the same. I would do this. So no matter what preset, what amp, whatever I have, these are just on and off switches. So let's say I have this 800 plus Super Overdrive sound plus Decimator. I can call off the SD. Or I can call off the Decimator. Or add phaser. Oh, what's going on in there? Something strange. Okay. I guess I accidentally, when I played with this, I programmed. So let's take loop 1, phaser off. Okay, no, so now you can see how to operate with this. And then loop 3, which is the EQ, off. So now I have only the chorus there, on and off. All right. I guess So I can call these on and off with the upper row switches. So it's really handy. And then there's, I don't remember how many banks, so you can, when I played in Suburban Tribe, I used this because we had a lot of different sounds and several pedals going on at the same time, and depending on the song. So I programmed this, by song. So if we have a set like, okay, bank number 1, first song, then I have programmed all these knobs to change the channels of the amps, activate certain, because I had like rack effects and useless tom boxes. It was that era, Lately, for many years, I've just used simple stump boxes. So I haven't even used this live. But okay, so and what all of these can do, as you see there's MIDI out, so I can program this to, like, Suburban Tribe, I had some rack processors. I can program, different combination, like on and off, or, call them in and out. And if your amp is MIDI switchable, you can also change the amp's channels. And you can actually change if it's like a regular. When I had the Fried Sigex, our guitar tech programmed, or it's Kimmo Aroluoma from Custom Boards made a board for me and programmed this. So whenever I change like something, I could change the amps channels too. And the Friar Chigex wasn't MIDI, but I guess it was some kind of a, I don't know what he did. Maybe it was this MIDI out and then some other cable thing, whatever. But anyways, I was able to switch the channels on the Chigex too, which wasn't MIDI switchable or something. But there's so many things you can do with this. And also, as you can see, here's the power cables. So this can power your pedals too, so you don't need an additional power block. So this goes to wall and then it powers all the pedals, which is pretty handy. And like I said, you can program this, you know, as presets or switch, modify, MIDI, whatever. It's pretty handy device, especially if you have a lot of sounds, like let's say you have this clean sound with, for some reason, all of these effects on, and then you just wanna go pure 800 tone. You can do it just with one knob. As you notice, I'm switching because I like, almost always I use neck pickup for the clean sounds, because I have when I use active EMG 81, 85, I have the 85, which is not as aggressive, because 81 is kind of hard to even get clean sound out of it. So yeah, maybe a little bit, some examples, and then we can finish this. Like that. hopefully this was informative and interesting, and maybe if you really weren't aware what a switching system is and what you can do with it now, hopefully you know, and maybe it's something you could consider using yourself. Hey, if you like this, thumbs up, subscribe, so on, the drill. Until next time, thanks for watching, take care, bye.